G. Greetings. If you knew a particular food made you sick, you'd avoid it, wouldn't you? And what if you knew that a busy intersection was dangerous? Well, you'd probably go another way, right? Well, what if you learned that a greeting phrase in business was a killer? You'd stop using it, wouldn't you?
Hi, Mr. Goodman. How are you today?
Oh, I am so glad you asked. My arthritis is acting up. My back is killing me. My mother-in-law wrecked my new car, and worst of all, she didn't even get hurt. My kid's goldfish has some fungus. Other than that, I'm doing fine. How are you?
The words, "How are you today?" to a person you don't know can be killer words. And it's not just important that you stop using these words. Even more important is to understand why. Now, you might be saying to yourself, "How are you today?" Well, it's harmless. I use it all the time. It's okay to someone you know. But on the phone, especially to someone you're speaking with for the first time, it can be very dangerous. Here's why. You probably don't really care how they are. You're giving up control of the conversation. It's usually regarded as a tip-off that you're trying to sell something. Instead, use some other socially acceptable phrase that's friendly, but still doesn't give up control of the conversation.
Hello, Mr. Steinberg. Nice to meet you by phone.
Hi, Sue. Glad we can spend a few minutes together. The reason I'm calling you...
Hello, Miss Warner. Good to talk with you today.
Remember, avoid these 4 killer words.
Hi, Mr. Goodman. How are you today?
H. Humor. Has this ever happened to you? It's happened to me.
Hi, I'm calling to place an order for more checks because you're the world's greatest bank, right?
What's your account number?
When the caller's joking and sharing a little humor, it's okay to play along. In fact, if you don't, the caller can be offended. But don't go off the deep end. You can go too far.
That's a good one. Wait a minute. I got one for you. This is great. Did you hear the one about the traveling salesman and the 2 farmers' daughters?
Excuse me? I've heard that one. You're definitely going too far. It's more appropriate when the other party tries humor to respond in kind. Try a little gentle humor.
I'm calling to place an order for more checks because you're the world's greatest bank, right?
Well, not only are you correct, sir, but you're obviously a man of great intelligence. May I have your account number, please?
That's the idea. A little humor can go a long way. It humanizes the relationship. If someone you're talking with uses humor, build rapport by acknowledging it. Use some gentle humor back. I irritates. Have you ever had tired, irritated eyes? Maybe you got something in them. Well, why are we talking about irritated eyes? Because it's one way to remember the word I irritates. Everyone you talk with is interested in themselves. What's in it for them, not what's in it for you. When you talk with someone and your conversation is loaded with I, you're not being effective. Let's watch 2 different ways to say something.
I want you to try this. I think it really has merit for you. I've got lots of satisfied customers. I can have you covered by Wednesday. I say, let's go.
Did you hear how many times he said I? Here's a better way.
Mr. Goodman, please try this. You'll love it. It really makes sense for you. We've had lots of satisfied customers who renew this plan again and again. Plus, you'll have immediate coverage. Let's go ahead, okay?
One more thing. If you do need an authority figure, instead of using I, use the experts say, or our customers tell us, or our president recently said. It's much more acceptable. J. Jerry's pet peeve. My late brother Jerry was a professional sales trainer. He really understood what helped people to buy and what stopped a sale too. Here was his #1 pet peeve, confirming a negative statement.
Hi, Mr. Goodman. This is Alex Benjamin from First Gigantic Bank.
First Gigantic Bank. I recently had a bad experience with your bank.
Okay. So you probably wouldn't be interested in opening a new checking account with us then, would you?
That's right.
Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Don't cement a negative. Let's not turn a prospect's objection into a suicide question. It kills the conversation. Ask what happened. Get details. Maybe it's a curable situation. Find out by asking questions.
Hi, Mr. Goodman. I'm Alex Benjamin from First Gigantic Bank.
First Gigantic Bank. I recently had a bad experience with your bank.
Oh, my goodness. Tell me what happened.
Well, I called down there to see if a couple of checks had cleared.
K. Know your objective. How would you feel if on your next airline flight you took your seat and heard the following announcement?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck. This is Captain Moore. We're going to be taxiing out here momentarily. Now, I have no idea what city we're going to. Let's just get this bird up in the air, and we're going to figure it out from there. You sit back and enjoy the ride, and thanks again for flying No Objective Airlines.
Not very comforting, is it? The pilot didn't know his objective before taking off. Why is it any different when you sell on the telephone? A common trait of successful telesales professionals is the ability to determine their call objective before they've dialed the phone. Your call objective is defined as what you plan to achieve on this call. An objective can be as simple as getting a name, a certain bit of information, or an objective might be to end up with an order. Let's listen in on a few call objectives.
My objective here will be to find out the next time Mrs. Biggs is going to be in the office.
At the end of this call, I hope to have the name and phone number of the plant manager in Paducah.
If this call is successful, I'll be closing an order covering a group of 1,500 people.
So you see, your objective may be to secure an order, to get the right name, or even find out a tiny but important piece of information. In every case, you'll feel more successful when you're reaching your objectives many times a day. Be sure you know your objective before every call.